What's going on, YouTube? I did it again. I said I was going to be more consistent with posting, but obviously I haven't been. But neither here nor there. And again, sorry about the appearance. I had no haircut. You know, my shirt got water stains all on it, but whatever. Neither here nor there. I wanted to make this video again. I've made several videos about this topic before, and I'm going to do it again because I think it's starting to get out of hand. And what do I think is starting to get out of hand? I think everything that we're seeing on social media, I think everything that the propaganda that people are trying to push is causing people to get in this trucking industry, to get their CDL, and they're thinking it's going to be some, elaborate thing, like, for example, there are certain people showing you stuff on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram about how, they're trucking and they're in this wonderful city and it's so beautiful and they're just having such a great time on their truck. And they're like leaving out the fact that, maybe they sat at a dock for 17 hours or, I'm exaggerating, but, they ran into traffic and they sat on the side of the road. They're glorifying it because what they're doing is getting clickbait because they want to get people to subscribe to their channel and they want to get people to watch their videos and they want to show these glamorous highlights. And then you have people that get into the industry and then it's nothing like what they've seen on YouTube or TikTok or any other social media. So now they're pissed off. And then those people come on social media and talk bad about the industry. Well, I'm going to say it again. You have to be able to weed through the fluff. There's a few really good truckers that are on YouTube that are showing you both sides of the spectrum. And I'm not really into the vlogging. I don't know how to do it. So I don't really have anything to show. So I do a lot of talking head videos, if you can see by my channel. I don't do all that, come with me, get ready with me in the truck. I'm not doing all that. But it's creating a narrative that trucking is bad. Trucking is so glamorous, and it's a career. I don't consider trucking a job, it's a career because you had to go to school to get licensed in it. You had to, put some time in it. You had to learn, you had to train, you had to do everything. It's a trade. But I think it's a great, wonderful career. I'm going to stand by it every single time. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have people telling you trucking is dead, trucking is stupid, don't do it. You're not going to make any money. I've been in the industry for about 10 years almost now, and I ain't never ran into slow motion at all. And I can only speak for myself, but it's been steady motion the whole time. Now, I did my stints over the road. I have been more primarily like a local driver, but I got the over the road experience. I knocked out like 4 or 5 years doing that. Regional, like another 2 years doing that. So I have the experience of doing all that. I've done route work, your food service. I've done beverage. I've done tanker, which I'm doing now. I've done hazmat. I've done water. Whatever. So I understand a little bit about it. I've been an instructor. Like, I understand a little bit about this. So another thing that I'm saying is people aren't flexible and people are just lazy. Like 90% of the time, if you do a local job, you're going to have to do a little bit of physical work. Whether you're moving hoses, hooking up the tanks, running food service, running beverage, unloading your trailer, you're going to do something physical. And what the problem is, people don't want to do that, or they physically can't do it. So what they try to do is stay over the road, stay regional, where they just bump a dock, open their doors, bump a dock and leave. So that side of the spectrum, you may not be getting the money that we were getting like in 2019, 2016, 2017 even, and during the pandemic. But you can't sit there and say like trucking is dead or the roof is caved in, because the fact of the matter is you're not being flexible. You can go right now. I can give you 3 different trucking companies, or like local trucking companies that are tanker, that you can go to right now that are national, that are local jobs, but they're national. Like they're in all 48, lower 48. And you can go get a job there and they'll walk you in the door paying you like $33 an hour. Or some paying you 27, or some paying you 26, time and a half after 40. Because there are certain things in trucking that just don't stop. Food service doesn't stop because people eat every day. Beverage, people drink sodas and waters and beer every day. Tanker, people need fuel. Distribution centers need their tanks cleaned out. Septic tanks need to be cleaned out. This is stuff that you got to think outside the box. You got a Class A, you can go move dumpsters, and that's not going to slow down because people throw away trash every day. But this idea that is so slow, is not moving like it should. Yes, everything is taking a hit right now, but there are certain areas that are just never. I'm just going on a limb and say never going to stop, because guess what? Like I just said, you're gonna always need fuel. You're gonna always need to clean water. Septic tanks legally have to be cleaned out at so many times a year. But if you say, "Oh, I'm staying in a drive van 53. I'm not doing nothing but opening doors. I'm not moving I'm not touching no freight. I'm only gonna do flatbed, or I'm only gonna do XYZ." You're limiting yourself, and that's why you have the opinion about this thing that you do. And I'm just here to tell you right now, if I was to sit here and say at my big age of 41 years old, like, you know what, if the tanker industry slowed down, I'ma just ride that wave. For a little bit I will, but I'm smart enough to know that there's other areas I can move to. Like I said, I pushed the two-wheeler my first 2 years on my CDL. I've done it. I go right back right now and be an instructor at another school. My instructor license is still good. But I'm in a lane right now that is not going to slow down. I believe that the Lord ain't going to do that to none of us. We work too hard to do that. But what I'm saying is, you got to be flexible. So when you come on YouTube, like, oh, there it is, trucking is this and that. My company cut us at 40 hours. Making $35 an hour at 40 hours is still a good paycheck, in my opinion. Making $28 an hour on 40 hours is still a good paycheck, in my opinion. Most of these companies are going to pay you every week. And then the good thing about being local, if your company did say, right now we got to cut it at 40, and you go from bringing home maybe $2,500 every week, or like $1,800 a week, being realistic. Now you bring it home $1,100. That's a $700 drop, and you can go make that $700 up. If you're local, you can go DoorDash. You can do Uber Eats until everything starts shaking back in your favor. But to sit there and say, oh, I'm only going to do this, or I'm only going to do that, you can't be that way. You can't be one track minded in this industry at all. They should have told you that in CDL school. So that's my opinion on it, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I promise you, I'm gonna start making more videos, and I say that every time, and I don't, but this time I really got a feeling I am. I might drop 3 videos today. You never know.